If you reside in Mississippi or Louisiana, or if you plan on buying in either of those states, stay tuned because there's some important home sales price information you're going to want to know about. So today we're going to be talking about appraised values. And oftentimes as we're counseling our clients through their home buying experience, they ask the question, well, what happens if the home doesn't appraise for the sales price? And that's a great question. So let's start with the guidelines. The guidelines state that the loan value or the loan to value is based off of the sales price or the appraised value, the lesser of the two. So what that means is if you're buying a home for $300,000 and the home appraises for $305,000, that's great. You walk into it with equity. However, you can't use that extra $5,000 on the purchase transaction since the sales price would be the lesser of the two. Now, what happens if the home appraises for less? And that's really where the rubber hits the road. And that's also where, and I'm going to say this a lot, you're going to want to make sure you're working with a really good real estate agent because at that time, decisions have to be made. Now, we'll say this, most of the sales contracts that we receive have language in them to protect both buyer and seller, meaning that the seller doesn't automatically have to come down to the appraised value and the seller doesn't have to automatically go up and stay at the sales price if there's a difference. And again, that's in most of the contracts that we see. However, if you're a buyer and you want to move forward, it kind of looks like this. If the home sells for $300,000 and appraises for $295,000, you will put down your down payment based off the $295,000, and then you would pay the difference to get up to the $300,000 sales price. Pretty simple. Now, again, you hear me talk about using realtors, and using a realtor is going to help to prevent these situations because your agent is going to do a lot of legwork. So if you're a buyer, you're going to have a conversation with your realtor, something like this. Okay, here's the home you're looking at buying. I've looked at all the homes in that area. They're similar in age and square foot and amenities and upgrades, and they're all listing and selling for this. And the home you're looking at is listed for this. And they may ask you, are you willing and prepared to come up to that sales price if it doesn't appraise for that? And if you're the seller, you're going to have a similar conversation with your realtor in that they're going to do all of this legwork and they're going to say, okay, all the homes in your area that are similar to yours in square footage, amenities, upgrades, age, all that, they're all listing and selling for this. And you want to list for this. And so a couple of things. One, are you prepared to miss all these potential buyers because their realtor is going to give them the same advice that the home may be overmarketed? And then two, are you willing to come down to the appraised value if it doesn't appraise for that? And again, there's decisions that need to be made on that. Now, I mentioned Louisiana and Mississippi earlier, and here's why this is important. Mississippi and Louisiana are 2 of 12 states in the U.S. that are non-disclosure states. So what that means is the buyer and seller do not report to public record what the sales price is. Also, the buyer doesn't have to disclose to anyone what the home appraised for. So what does this mean? What it means is Zillow really doesn't know the value of that home. And you know who else doesn't know the value of that home? Your cousin Eddie. Also, Bob you work with, he doesn't know the value either, even though he bought 2 homes in 25 years, so by default, he is a real estate guru. But let me tell you who probably knows the market value of the home you're looking at, and that is your local realtor, because they have the tools that Cousin Eddie doesn't, and they have the training that Bob across the hall doesn't to help you navigate that. And if you'd like to connect with one of our local real estate agents, I'm happy to help with that. Or if you have lending questions, I'm happy to help with those. And it's real easy to do. Visit my website, reach out to me. I'm always happy to help. Thanks for watching Your Mortgage Minute.